You've been throwing away the exact thing that could finally get your weeding season under control. Every summer you bend down, dig your fingers into the dirt, and pull the same weeds back out. And every summer, they're back. What if the flattened box sitting in your recycling bin right now could smother them instead? No bending over, and you won't spend a dime. Texas A&M AgriLife horticulture specialists say it's the real deal. Here's exactly how, and honestly, it's kind of a fun trick. Here's the thing. This isn't folk wisdom with no backup. Texas A&M AgriLife's tested it in real gardens. Here's what's coming up, which cardboard actually works, and how to lay it down without ever touching the ground. Plus what'll keep it in place all season. All you need is what's already flattened behind your fridge, and about 1 weekend to set it up. Here's why this works. Most weed seeds need light to sprout. No light, no wake-up call. Cardboard blocks that light almost completely, like pulling a blackout curtain over your soil. Nearly every University Extension service agrees on this one point. Light deprivation is what makes sheet mulching work. No light, no photosynthesis. It's that simple. Weeds that are already growing start to fade, and new seeds rarely even get the signal to sprout. Most of them have a built-in light sensor, and without light, they just don't know it's time to grow. A University of Connecticut Extension review measured it directly. Turns out even a standard layer of mulch still lets some light sneak through in spots. That's exactly why how you lay the cardboard matters just as much as the cardboard itself. So which cardboard's the one that actually works? Not just any box off the curb, folks. Plain brown corrugated cardboard's the winner here, the kind from moving boxes or appliance cartons. Anything glossy or heavily printed just won't cut it. A quick strip of the tape, shipping labels and staples, and it's ready. You can do all of that standing at a table, no bending required. Honestly, that's a small win on its own. You don't need a green thumb for this part. Whole sheets work best. Texas A&M AgriLife's latest guidance found that tearing or shredding cardboard opens up gaps light can sneak through. One more step before anything goes down. Soak the soil underneath. Dry ground makes cardboard harder to seat, and it'll slow the whole process down. One more thing before your knees get a permanent day off. Plain cardboard like this is gentle enough for pets and grandkids nearby. No sprays, no chemicals involved. Now here's the part that saves your back the most. Once your cardboard's soaked and ready, there's no need to carry it out and kneel down to place it. A long-handled garden rake or a grabber tool slides each sheet into position from a standing spot. The rake head presses it flat just as well. Your knees never have to touch the ground. Trust me, that alone might be worth the whole project. But placement's only half of it. The edges need 6 to 8 inches of overlap every single time, rain or shine. That part really matters. Texas A&M and University of California Extension researchers agree on that exact number. Skimp on the overlap and weeds will likely find that seam and push right through. Think of it less like a force field and more like a fence with one loose board. That's exactly where weeds sneak through. A thorough soak with water after each sheet keeps it from blowing away, and it'll start the breakdown process. After a hard rain, check for spots that shifted or tore. Patch them fast so weeds can't find the gap. Now, here's the part most videos leave out. Cardboard's excellent against weeds that grow from seed, the annual kind that shows up fresh every spring. Perennial weeds, though, that's a different story. University of California researchers note bindweed roots can reach more than 20 feet down. It can take 3 to 5 years of consistent smothering to wear it down. Bermuda grass is likely to push its way right through the seams. And if quack grass has already taken hold, most extension officers recommend pulling it before cardboard goes down. So if your yard's fighting one of these three, cardboard helps, but it's not the whole answer. This isn't a guess either. The proof's in the pudding. A multi-year USDA-funded study looked at this directly. University of Minnesota researchers found it cut weed growth significantly in real test plots. That's measured results, not just gardening folklore. Don't panic though. For everyday weeds sprouting from seed, this is about as reliable as garden fixes get. Results still vary a little, yard to yard. One more honest note while we're at it. Washington State University Extension researchers have flagged that some cardboard carries trace chemicals left over from processing. Skip anything glossy, heavily taped, or greasy from old takeout, and you'll cut the risk way down. Easy fix, and it won't cost you extra. Now let's get this whole thing tucked in. Once your cardboard's down and overlapped right, one more layer finishes the job. About 3 inches of organic mulch, wood chips, straw, or shredded leaves does the trick on top. That weight'll hold the cardboard in place through wind and rain. It'll also hide the cardboard completely. What used to be a weedy, embarrassing patch will turn into a clean, finished-looking bed almost overnight. And in the peak heat of July, that mulch layer will keep the soil underneath noticeably cooler. That's it for the setup. Now, here's what happens after you walk away. Cardboard will usually break down in 4 to 6 months. In warmer USDA zones, it tends to go faster. In cooler climates, plan on a full season or longer. As it breaks down, it'll add organic matter back into the soil. Gardeners from Ohio to Oregon report noticing more earthworm activity as the layers soften. Usually a good sign the soil's waking back up. By the next planting season, that ground's often soft enough to plant straight through with little digging needed. This isn't a new idea either. It goes back to 1944 in Poverty Hollow, Connecticut. A gardener named Ruth Stout was waiting on a neighbor to till her soil. His plow just wouldn't stay fixed. While she waited, she noticed something. Under the straw mulch on her asparagus bed, the soil stayed soft. It's soft enough to plant with her bare hands. That's when she stopped waiting. She'd start planting straight through the mulch, no digging at all. She kept refining that method for the next 30 years, still gardening. She still wasn't bending over a shovel at 92 years old. Your grandmother may not have used cardboard, but this same lazy gardener logic's been quietly working for generations. That's the whole idea behind this method. Old wisdom, and now the university research to back it up. Landscape fabric and bottled weed killer both cost real money, season after season. This one's free, whatever's already sitting in your recycling bin. You'll want to keep your next 3 flattened boxes instead of tossing them out. That's enough for 1 4x4 bed. By next month, that patch could be smothered under mulch instead of covered in weeds. Picture it, mulch instead of weeds and you're back thanking you for it. No bending, no pulling, no cost. You'd rather solve a problem with what's already in the garage than buy another bag of herbicide. That's the kind of gardener who belongs here. I'd love to know what state you're in and how bad your weeds get by July. Happy gardening!